welcome to my channel. My name's Debbie if we've not met before, and today's video is going to be a 3 looks 1 palette. As you know from the title, it's with this palette, the Moonspell by Lunar Beauty. I've already done a first impressions of this palette, and in that first impressions I asked whether you guys would like to see a 3 looks because I was really inspired by the colours in the palette, and you guys said yes, so I decided to do it. It's taken me a little while to get it up because these videos take quite a long time to film. The look that I'm wearing now is the 3rd look. You will notice a little bit of light variation in the video footage because the first look that I filmed, I changed the settings and then I changed them back. So I've been playing a little bit with the settings, but hopefully you'll still be able to see the looks and see what I'm doing, and that's the main thing. So you just sort of bear with me at the moment while I'm trying to figure out the best way to get things to look. But anyway, straight into the looks now, and then I'll catch up with you at the end so that I can give you my thoughts because I've used all the shades in these looks. So for the first look, I'm starting off with the shade Sabrina, the purple in the palette. And I'm going to focus that in my crease. I've got a pointed but fluffy brush, and I'm focusing that in my crease and above my crease. I'm just using windscreen wiper motions to go backwards and forwards just to blend that out. And I'm building the pigment up slowly, that's how I like to do it. Just a bit at a time and blend that in, and then pick up some more and blend it so I don't get too much fallout with a shade like this. And I'll sped up the footage, but it did take me quite a while just to lay down that purple and get it to blend in the way that I wanted it to. But as purples go, it's not too bad a purple to blend out. Then I've used the shade Sarah to blend above that purple, and it's a great taupey sort of blending shade that leans towards the purples in the palette but equally goes well with the greens as well, so it's a really good addition to the palette. So I'm just blending on the front portion of my crease towards my nose there, and then I'm going in with the shade Page, and I'm going to use that in the gap that I've left on my brow bone and towards that Sarah shade that I've already laid down, and I'm literally going all the way up to my brow using all my eye space there and creating a blend between the 3 shades that I've laid down so far. And I'll swap brushes to allow me to blend a bit more easily, and then back in with the shade Sabrina, and I've got a bit more of a densely packed blending brush. This one's by Linda Hallberg, just to redefine my crease because I always lose some of the pigment when I blend. And I think going backwards and forwards between the 2 shades helps to create a more seamless gradient. I'm not the best at blending, so this definitely helps in the process for me. So it's quite a bit of backwards and forwards between the 2 shades to get the desired effect that I was looking for. Here I've just got a bit more of a fluffy brush. I keep changing brushes, changing between one colour and the other until I get what I want. Then I'm going in with the Conceal and Define Concealer by Revolution and my cut crease brush from Sigma to do a half cut crease, and just making sure I've perfected the shape of that as much as I can, get it as accurate as I can, and filling in the space on my lids with the concealer to about halfway across my lids. Just perfecting it there, and then I'm going to tap out where it joins with the mattes just with my finger, and then in with the shade Fiona and a bit more of a packing brush. I'm packing that on the centre of my lids towards the inner part of my lids. So basically anywhere where we've done the half cut crease with the concealer is going to be filled in with the shade Fiona. Took quite a while to build that up to full opacity, and I think I still missed the odd section there actually. And then going in with the shade Piper, and I'm laying that down next to the Fiona shade and blending it into the Fiona shade. So I've got a bit of a gradient between the teal Fiona shade and the pink Piper shade. Then back in with Sabrina because I just wanted to darken up my outer V just slightly, and Sabrina's the darkest shade in the palette in that colour family, so I decided that was the best way to do it. And then in with 24/7 liner by Urban Decay in the shade Deep End, one of my favourites from them. So I wanted to lay down a base for the lower lash line and my waterline, and then I'm setting that with the shade Nancy. I'm just further blending this out with a Sigma brush just to really get that blended and smoky on the lower lash line, and then blending all the way around the whole look just to try and grunge it out a bit, just make sure it's super blown out and blended. Then I'm going in with the Barry M eyeshadow topper in the shade Asteroid and a really small detail brush. This one's by Sosu by Suzanne Jackson from the Urban Rebel brush collection. It's quite flat, but it's got a point to this brush, and it really helps you to lay down the colour but also get a nice precise line as well. So I'm following the line of that half cut crease, and I'm also painting a bit of that glitter on my inner corner because there isn't really an inner corner shade in the right tone in the palette. And then as if by magic, that's the other eye done off camera. Just added mascara and a lip. The lipstick is by Anastasia Beverly Hills, a liquid lipstick in the shade Vintage. And that's look number 1. And then into look number 2, I wanted a green and grungy look for look number 2. So I'm starting with the shade Marnie and quite a fluffy brush. For both of these looks so far, I've used the MAC Painterly Paint Pot as a base. I think I do that in all 3 looks actually. But I'm just blending that on my lower lash line and into my outer V and outer corner, and again taking that quite high up to my brow. Just building up the pigment slowly as I go and trying to create the shape as I go as well. This brush is by Crown and it's quite a good one for this purpose. It's fluffy but reasonably small and precise. So it's taken me a few dips into the palette and to the brush to really create that pigment that I want, but also get the blend that I'm looking for. Then going in with the shade Bonnie, because I want to lay down a lighter colour next to that, but just more focusing my brow area now. I want to leave my lid blank for shimmers, so I'm just going from my crease to my brow, and if some of it goes onto my mobile lid, it doesn't matter because I'll be covering that with a shimmer shade later. So I'm just packing that on with a blending brush because I want it to sort of look like a blended, kind of almost like a watercolour between the 2 shades, so between the Marnie shade and the Bonnie shade, but I want that Bonnie shade to show up as reasonably pigmented, so dipped in a few times to do that. Then in with the Nancy shade and focusing that on the inner part of my brow, so I suppose just above my crease but towards my nose. You can see where I'm putting it there, and I'm just letting that just touch to the Bonnie shade. I think that's giving a little bit of an interest to the look, just something a little bit unexpected in that inner part of my crease there. Then going in with the NYX glitter primer. I'm not doing a cut crease or anything here, so I'm just applying that haphazardly to my lid really, and then going in with the shade Mary, which is a beautiful tone to this shimmer, and it lends itself well with either the purples and pinks or with the greens. It's like a silvery, grungy, greeny kind of shade. It's difficult to explain, but it's unique to my collection. But I'm just literally filling in the whole of my lid with that shade. And then because I don't want it to be a cut crease, I spent quite a long time blending that shade upwards into my crease so that it blends with the mattes we've already laid down in the crease. And then just touching up the mattes as well, just to help with the blend between the 2. And this did take quite a lot of work to actually achieve that blend, but I think it was worth it. Sometimes just blending a shimmer into the crease does take some work, but it can look really effective. Then in my lower lash line and my waterline, I'm using the Urban Decay 24/7 pencil in the shade Mars. I'm going to need a new one of these soon. I'm getting down on that pencil. It is one of my favourite grungy green pencils. And then I'm just setting the lower lash line now with the Nancy shade, and just a fluffy brush just to set that and also kind of smoke out that liner. And then going in with Kaleidos Makeup's Laser Glazer highlight, because I wanted something sparkly and green in the inner corner, and there isn't anything in the palette that fitted the bill, so I thought that worked quite well. And then that's the finished look there, with a bit of a wing, mascara and a lip. It's a liquid lipstick by Jeffree in the shade Karma. And I think this one was my favourite of the three looks. Just love a smoky green eye, and I like a nice big wing, as you all know if you've been here before. So if you're enjoying the video so far and you've not done already, please hit the like button. These videos take quite a long time for me to film, so I'd really appreciate it. And now we're into look number 3, and the lighting does change slightly in this one, so do apologise while I'm messing with that and trying to get the settings right. I should look like I've got a suntan in this lighting, so hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. But I'm going in with the shade Kiki, and I'm trying to create a bit of a winged out shape, but not too crazy, just like a V shape in the outer V. So I carved out the shape of what I wanted there with one brush, and then I've swapped to a smaller, more detailed brush. This one again is by Linda Hallberg, to pack on that colour in the outer corner. And this brush is good because it works well for blending, but also will pick up shimmers quite well and deposit them without too much fallout. So it's a good all-round multitasker of a brush. And then I've got another Sosu by Suzanne Jackson brush here that's a really flexible brush that I like to use for blending out. Then I'm going in with the shade Winifred and my Spectrum A12, which is a fluffy pencil brush, to go in the inner part of my crease and to blend into that Kiki shade that I've already laid down. And those two blended really seamlessly together without any problems. And then again I'm using that Sarah shade, which is my favourite shade for blending out at the moment, and I think it's such a pretty shade for the crease as well. But that's just helping to smudge things out a bit. And then in the inner part of my crease, to create a little pop of colour there, I'm using the shade Page. And I'm taking that a little bit onto the inner part of my lid and into the inner part of my crease. And then I'm going in with the shade Samantha. And for this one I didn't put any glitter glue down first, and it's not going over a wet concealer. I wanted to see how much sparkle I would get from these shimmers without any adhesive agent down first. But I wanted to then use the shade Prue in my inner corner, and because that's got a little bit of sparkle and glitter to it, I used glitter glue just there just to help that to stay put. It's not my favourite shade in the palette, Prue. It is really pretty, but it's just a topper shade, so it does need some building up. And then I'm using the Urban Decay 24/7 liner in the shade Woodstock, the pink, in my waterline and lower lash line, and then setting that with Sabrina, the purple matte in the palette, and a flat definer brush. And then smudging that out with Piper. And Piper is a satin shade, but looks really pretty on the lower lash line in the way that I've used it here. So quite a dramatic lower lash. Then I'm going in with Star Surfer highlight by Kaleidos Makeup, just to use as a brow bone highlight. I've also used that as my highlighter in this look. And that's the finished look. So neutral but with a pop of pink. And then I've got the shade LUV, which is a Studied Kiss lipstick by Kat Von D, on my lips to pull out the purple pinkness of the look there. And that's look number 3 all done. So that's all 3 looks, guys. I'd love to know what you thought of them down in the comments and which one was your favourite. For me, I think number 2, because I just love a grungy green eye, but I do love all 3. And I love that you can get so many different colour combos out of this palette. And I've not even really scratched the surface of what you could do. So I'd love to use the Sabrina and Bonnie shades, so the purple and the lime green packed over a white base. I think that would look amazing as well. There's 4 different formulas in the palette. You've got shimmers, you've got one that's more of a glitter topper shade in that shade Page. You've got obviously really beautiful buttery mattes in there, and you've got a couple of more satiny kind of shades as well. So a lot of variety of finishes, and that row of neutrals really helps to bring things down a peg or two, but in the way that I've used it now, I'm hoping to have shown you that it doesn't have to be boring. I mean, you could stick in the neutral zone and make something with that, but I think everyone knows how to do that, so I didn't want to do that. I wanted to incorporate the shades in different ways and try and show you that you can get something really creative out of this palette. Just inspires me so much, the colours in this one. And I want to pull some of these shades and the Lunar Beauty Dream palette together, because I think I could make some really nice looks with that. So really loving the brand at the moment. Love this palette, if you can't tell already, and one of my favourite finds of 2019 really, Lunar Beauty. I think the packaging is stunning, and for a palette collector like me, worth it for that alone really, because I just wanted it in my collection. But to find that the shades work so well together, that the finishes are so lovely, and that, you know, I'm very inspired by the colour story. And actually when Manny first announced this palette, I was kind of like, oh, it's not kind of Halloween enough. You know, I was expecting it to be a lot more dramatic. I wanted a black in there, I wanted a bit more neon-y green, etc. And now, having played with it, we've all got a black in our collections. This offers something different because it's wearable colour, and I think if you were looking for a palette to dip your toes into colour without going crazy colourful and bright, you know, these, I've done these looks quite dramatic because that's me, but I think you could do quite a toned down look with this, quite a neutral look, but then use either the purples or the teals on the lower lash line and create something that's work appropriate but with a little bit of pizzazz about it, and I'm just living it for that. So wholeheartedly recommend it, and I'm so glad I've got it in my collection. Guys, did you buy it? I'd love to know. I know I've chatted with a couple of you and you say you've got it, and some of you have not yet picked it up. So but I'd love to know your thoughts on it, if you've used it and what you've done with it, what sort of looks you've created with it. But that brings me to the end of this 3 looks 1 palette video, and if you enjoyed it, please smash the like button. As I say, this takes a lot of work to put together. I'm going to do a lot more 3 looks 1 palettes, but I'd underestimated the amount of work it takes to really do them well. I wanted to look the same in each one, so I had to wash my hair between each one and straighten it, and it's been a bit of a chore, but I wanted the continuity through the video. So I hope it's appreciated. I hope you've got something out of it. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you consider subscribing as well. I'd love to have you. And if you made it to the very end, drop some kind of purple emoji. Love you guys so much. Catch you in the next one. Bye.